Before I start explaining you the chapter, let me introduce you with the main characters of the story, Tom and his friends. Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer is the main character of the story. He is a regular kid. He gets into trouble like many kids. He always wants to play and hates school. He is a leader, a manipulator, and he gets kids to do whatever he wants. Naughty and often a wild boy, he is always ready for new adventures, aided by his imagination. For these reasons, he always gets in trouble, but nothing can shake him because of his extremely optimistic nature. Despite acting foolishly, he is intelligent, noble, and a good boy. He shows that his actions can be responsible and mature. Tom lives with his Aunt Polly because his mom is dead. They live in Missouri. Next is Huckleberry Finn, Tom's best friend. He basically follows Tom around and does whatever he wants. He is the son of the local drunkard and because of that, not very popular. He doesn't go to school and dresses in rags. Kids love him because they like his free lifestyle. He is always ready for new adventures with Tom. Next is Becky Thatcher. Becky is a girl who moves into Tom's town. Becky is very polite and well-mannered girl. Tom is in love with Becky. Becky's dad is a respected judge in the town, Judge Thatcher. Next is Sid Sawyer, Tom's Winnie half brother, who also lives with Aunt Polly and Tom. He behaves well but enjoys getting Tom into trouble and tattles on Tom. He appears to be around 9 years old and lies. He also seems to annoy Tom frequently like other children. Aunt Polly. Aunt Polly is Tom's aunt. Tom always outsmarts her and lies to her. She is a nice and kind-hearted lady that takes care of him. She is simple and loving, but the need to teach Tom good manners is sometimes stronger than her love for him. Injun Joe? Injun Joe is a jerk. His whole life revolves around revenge. He dies in the end. He is a criminal and a murderer. He is filled with a great hatred and very dangerous man for Tom and Huck. Muff Potter. Muff Potter is Injun Joe's partner at the graveyard robbery. Muff is a dirty drunk, but not that bad guy. He is pretty nice to Tom and Huck. Dr. Robinson, a young doctor who tries to rob a grave in the beginning. He asks Injun Joe to help him out. He is killed by Injun Joe. Joe Harper, a friend of Tom's who joins Tom and Huck on their pirate adventure. Mrs. Douglas, a widow who is nice to Tom and Huck. She takes in Huck as her own child when he was sick and takes good care of him. Before I start with the summary of the chapter, let me tell you this was the first novel to be written on a typewriter. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was published in 1876 and is a very well known and popular story concerning American youth. Mark Twain's lively tale of the escapes and adventures of boyhood is set in St. Petersburg, Missouri, where Tom Sawyer and his friend Huckleberry Finn have the kinds of adventures many boys can imagine: racing, bugs during class, impressing girls, especially Becky Thatcher, with fights and stunts in the schoolyard, getting lost in a cave, and playing pirates on the Mississippi River. He is a playful boy who does a lot of pranks. He is artful and he gets out of that situation by escaping to go swimming instead of going to school. He stands out for his intelligent and smart behavior, wild and humorous nature. Tom is a person who can overcome any problem and nothing is impossible for him. He looks at the difficulties as a challenge and immediately comes to grips with them and trying to solve them. He is powered by a great optimism despite everything bad that has happened to him. One of the most famous incidents in the book describes how Tom persuades his friends to do a boring, hateful chore for him, that is, whitewashing a fence. An imaginative and mischievous boy named Tom Sawyer, who is up to no good, lives with his Aunt Polly in the Mississippi River town of St. Petersburg, Missouri. He eats jam when he is not supposed to, skips school, and gets in a fight. After playing hooky from school on Friday and dirtying his clothes in a fight, Tom is made to whitewash the fence as a punishment on Saturday. At first, Tom is disappointed by having to forfeit his day off, but because Tom is such a scammer, he tricks his friends into painting the fence by pretending that it is a fun thing to do and he is really enjoying whitewashing the fence. As Tom begins the dreaded task of whitewashing, he sees Ben Rogers approaching. When Ben teases Tom about not being able to go swimming and being forced to work, Tom points out that it is not exactly work if he is enjoying himself, and he makes a great show of applying whitewash and then stepping back to admire his own effects. When Ben wants to try his hand at whitewashing, Tom pretends to really enjoy whitewashing the fence and remains reluctant until Ben offers him first the core of the apple and then the entire apple. Then he allows him to paint and goes from there and enjoys eating apple. Some other kids came around However, he soon cleverly persuades his friends to trade him small treasures for the privilege of doing his work, and they are also tricked into thinking that it was fun. So they did his work for him. In exchange for the pleasure of whitewashing the fence, they gave Tom something of theirs. And by the middle of the afternoon, the fence is whitewashed by the other boys, and Tom finds himself a rich man, having collected many items as payment from the boys doing the work. Aunt Polly sees that Tom did a fabulous job on the fence and she rewards him, even though Tom didn't do anything, with an apple. On Monday, he was supposed to go to school but didn't feel like it, so decided to fake that he was ill. The aunt recognized his act and told him to go to school. On the way, he came across Huck, son of a drunkard who spent his days doing nothing because he didn't have to go to school. His full name was Huckleberry Finn. Tom started talking to him. Tom wasn't allowed to play with Huck because, as per the mothers of St. Petersburg, Huck was a bad influence. Huck had a dead cat. He wanted to take it to the graveyard at night. He thinks that a dead cat can call the ghosts. Tom was late for school because he was talking to Huck. On reaching late, he was asked for the reason behind coming late to school, and Tom said that he got late because he was talking to Huck on the way. The teacher got annoyed because he was talking to Huck Finn and decided to punish him. After caning as a punishment, the teacher told him to sit in the girls' row as there was only one seat vacant and that was next to Becky Thatcher. Tom got to sit with Becky Thatcher, who was a beautiful new girl of the class. He got attracted towards her and gives Becky an apple and draws pictures for her to impress her. The teacher understood the reason behind Tom's sitting with Becky Thatcher. He held him with his ear and told him to go back to his own place and sit back there.